I guess we can talk about our objective here. I'm going to start writing these things because I did notice that I was asked in one of my classes, what is the objective? I'm like, I wonder why she needs to know. And then I realized some of my Avid kids told me, oh, we're required to have one up. So I'll try to help you out and do that. That way you don't have to go look for one. Objective for us is using the given equation. We need to identify the slope and use it to find a parallel line. So using the given equation, so usually they're going to give you an equation. That's going to be the last 6 problems, which are actually the more important ones. But using the given equation, we need to identify the slope of that equation and use it to find a parallel line. Okay? So first off, parallel lines. You guys should hopefully already know this, but there are 2 types of lines that we talk about, parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So for parallel lines, these are lines that have the same slope. So lines that have the same slope. So in other words, if I were to give you 2 lines, so check, this is just going to look a little weird, but y equals m sub 1 x plus b sub 1, and y equals m sub 2 x plus b sub 2. If that's what I gave you, 2 equations, notice I have them in y equal form, okay? So you have to solve for y. Have to solve for y, all right? So once you have them in this format, then you got to make sure that m1 is the same as m2. If the 2 slopes aren't equal, then they're not parallel. Okay, parallel lines have the same slope. Okay? So I just kind of highlight that for us here, right? Same slope. Now, on Thursday, we're going to talk about perpendicular lines. And perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals, meaning you flip the slope and change the sign. So like a 3/4 will become a 4/3 and then negative, right? So you got to do 2 little pieces for a perpendicular slope. But for parallel, this is the easier one of the 2. Just make sure they're the same. Okay? Now, they're going to give you guys a couple of problems here to do. I'm going to make you do 2 of them. But let me do one that's not a homework problem, because there's one problem I'm going to get out of here. I don't like it. Let me give you one that's not a homework problem. Okay, so the instructions here are going to be to determine if these lines are parallel. Now I'm going to apologize. On the instructions in the worksheet, it says find out if they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. I forgot to edit the instruction. It's supposed to say parallel only. So I'll remind you to cross out the other stuff. But determine if these lines are parallel. Remember, parallel means not parentheses. Slopes have to be the same. Okay? So here's your first problem. Example number 1. This is not a homework problem. So y equal to 2/3 x minus 5, and y equal to negative 2/3 x plus 3. Okay? So, are these parallel? So what's the slope of the top equation? 2/3. What's the slope of the bottom equation? Negative 2/3. Are these slopes equal? Is 2/3 equal to negative 2/3? No. So are these lines parallel? No. That's it. You got 4 problems like this, and actually I'm only going to make you do 3 because I'm going to get rid of one. Um, but I guess I can let you keep it, but it's whatever. We'll see. But I'm just going to write 2/3 is not equal to negative 2/3. So I'm going to put not parallel. That's it. Just check if your slopes are the same. Okay? If your slopes are the same, great, parallel. If they're not the same, then they're not parallel. All right? Let's try a different one here. So example number 2. Let's say I give you y equal to 3x minus 4, and we'll put negative 6x plus 2y equal to 10. Now, can you tell the slope for the top equation? What's the slope for the top one? 3. All right, so here we go. 3/1 or 3, okay? Now, based on the second equation, the way it looks, can you easily spot the slope for the second one? Can you, like, is it ready y equals something? Does it look like that? No. So I have to do that first, okay? So let me change this. Now, some people will sometimes say, isn't the slope negative 6? They'll say, isn't it negative 6? And I'm like, why? Well, you said it's the number in front of the x. I did say that. But I also said it's the number in front of the x once you've solved for y. Right? So don't just take the number in front of any x you see and say, that's my slope. You better make sure you solve for y first. Then you can say the number in front of the x is your slope. Okay? So to solve for y, I'm going to have to add 6x on both sides. Let me put plus 6x plus 6x. This is 2y equal to 6x plus 10. And then to solve for y completely, I got to get rid of that 2, right? So let me divide it out. We'll divide everything by 2. So y equal to 3x plus 5. What's the slope for this problem? Just a 3, right? Are they the same, the two slopes? Yeah, I mean, the other one, you can barely see it, but it was m equals 3, m equals 3. So I know that 3 equals 3. So these are parallel. Okay? If they give you problems that are not solved for y, you're going to have to solve them. Okay? You're going to have to solve it. So I'm going to give you one more question from here, okay? This one is going to be a homework problem for you guys. Okay? So, let me see. Yeah, these first two right here, that was not a homework problem. This was not a homework problem. They are very similar to your homework, though. Very similar, but they weren't. This one is a homework problem. I just want to make sure we practice this enough because honestly, your homework assignment is 2 topics. What we're doing now, and then creating your own line. And that's it. So I'd rather, hold on, did I mess up here? That's 3. I'd rather practice a little bit more and then give you guys enough time to do this. So here's one from the homework. And I would say this is probably the toughest one they give you. So can I identify my slopes easily from this? Not really, because I got to solve for y first. Then I can identify it easily. Okay? But first I got to solve for y. So, and I got to do it twice. Not just one time. The one that we just previously did, one of them was already done for us. The second one was not. So now I got to do both. So here we go. Let's start off with negative 5x plus 3y equals 6. And I'm going to put 18x plus 30y equals 60. So we'll start with the left side first. What do I move first if I'm trying to solve for y? Say again? The x term, right? Negative 5x, I'm going to add it to both sides, plus 5x. So I get 3y equal to 5x plus 6. What's my last step to get y by itself? Yeah, I got to divide, right? Divide by 3. So if I'm dividing by 3, this is what it's going to look like. Y equal to 5/3 x plus 2. Okay? So this is, I'm going to put a little dot right here. This is my answer for one equation. Y equals 5/3 x plus 2. So what's my slope? 5/3. Yeah, 5/3. All right. So that was easy to spot. Okay, that was easy to spot. All right, let's move the other one. So let's do the same idea. Let's move our x first. So we'll subtract 18x. Okay. Once I do that, I get 30y equals negative 18x plus 60. So if I divide everything by 30 and simplify, I should be able to see what my slope is. So let's see. So I divided everything by 30. Y is equal to, remember, you guys have calculators, okay? Negative 18 over 30, let's see, I can divide that by 6, 18 and 30. So that would be a negative 3, and on the bottom of 5. So negative 3/5 x plus 2. What's my slope for this equation? Negative 3/5. All right, negative 3/5. Are my slopes equal? No. No. So are these parallel? No, not parallel. I mean, is the overall objective of these problems hard? No. You just got to make sure their slopes are the same. But will getting there sometimes be a little difficult? Yeah, sure. You might have to solve for y. And you may get big numbers like 30s and 60s and stuff. But again, you guys have calculators, or if you needed one at the time, just let me know. But you have calculators, you can reduce the fractions pretty easily. If you don't have a calculator that can do fractions, let me know. And if you can't find one that's good for you, I can always find one and then just tell you, hey, give me like $10 and I can find you one for like $9.99 and I'll eat up the shipping and the taxes, whatever. But so I did that for some of my students. I bought like 10 calculators last year because they all wanted one, and everyone got their own except for one kid. They backed out, which was okay. Eventually I got rid of the last one. Someone ended up buying it, but yeah, sometimes I'll buy them on Amazon just to have a couple new ones here for you guys if you wanted to purchase them. All right, last one of these, okay? And this one won't take long, at least I don't think so. We'll see if you guys remember. This one will be from your homework, okay? This is the one I was going to get rid of. What the heck? We did this type of stuff. It's not like you haven't done it. Now, let me just remind you, parallel lines have the same slope, okay? What that basically means is that if I were to draw a line like this, and I wanted a line parallel, that means that they should pretty much look the same, okay? If I drew a line like this, then the parallel line should look like this, okay? These are parallel lines. They have the same slope, okay? Not all four of them, but like the first two on top, they're like going in the same direction. The ones below going in the same direction, right? So parallel, okay? They're not going to cross each other. What kind of line is the top one? This is something we learned a while back. Yeah, vertical. The top one is a vertical line. This one I'm just going to put right here x equals negative 5 is vertical. What about y equal to 3? Say it louder.
Horizontal.
Horizontal. So let me draw it. If one line is vertical and the other one is horizontal, does that make them parallel? No. Parallel lines are never supposed to cross, right? They're not supposed to touch. These are going to cross. So these are not parallel. Notice you don't have to really do anything. If you wanted to be a little bit more technical, you could have said that the vertical line has an undefined slope and the horizontal line has a slope of 0. Therefore, their slopes are not the same, right? But I usually just tell them, think about the picture. One is going to be vertical, one's going to be horizontal. They're crossing each other. Parallel lines are not supposed to touch, okay? So, all right. So you guys have 3 problems to work on of those. Now, the last set, so like I said, I'm not going to apologize for going over 4 examples like this because these are supposed to be easier problems. I don't want to just do 1 or 2 and be like, okay, you're good, right? Let's just go over them, make sure you get them, and we move on. The last set of problems, okay, is going to say the following. Write the slope intercept form of the equation of the line described. Whoops, that's not how you spell described. So write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line described. Now there are 6 of these. Okay? There are 6 of these things. I'm going to do 2 of them because they didn't really make you do any super hard ones. They're all pretty straightforward, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to do one that's kind of like on the easier side. I'm going to do one that's like, I guess you would consider the harder ones, and that way you have both, okay? There really is no medium. It's either like kind of easy or a little bit harder, but there's no in between. So I'm going to do one of each, okay? So here's the first one. This is going to be the easier one. This is from your homework, okay? It's going to say, through this point, parallel to y equal to negative 2x minus 5. So they want us to write an equation of a line that passes through that point and is parallel to the other line. Okay? So in other words, we got to write a parallel line. Now, what's so important about parallel lines? What do they have? By definition, what do they have? Same slope. Parallel lines have the same slope. What is the slope that I have according to this line over here? Negative 2. Thank you. It's a negative 2, right? So guess what? My brand new line is going to have the same exact slope. So here we go. Let's start writing it out. Y equals mx plus b. What's my slope supposed to be? Negative 2, right? It has to be the same slope. So negative 2x plus b. In order to finish this problem, what is the missing piece that I got to solve for? B. And do you remember how we did that in previous homeworks? We just got the point that they gave us and we plugged it into the problem, right? And that solved for B. The point that I have is negative 3, 5. So look, I'm going to put a little x1, y1. Oops, that's too low. x1, I'm sorry, let me not even use 1. xy. Let's just use xy so we don't confuse people. xy. I'm going to plug that into my problem, solve for B, and then I basically write my equation, and I'm done. Okay? So let's plug it in. So y is 5 equal to negative 2 times negative 3 plus b. Again, I like using different colors when I plug it in so you know, like, if you're ever wondering where did he get that from, look at the green stuff, right? So negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. And to solve for b, I just got to subtract 6. So negative 1 is equal to b. So notice, I got my b value. I got my m value. If they just want me to write an equation of a line, y equals mx plus b, I got everything I need. So here we go. Y equals negative 2x minus 1. And I'm done. Now, is this line parallel to the other line? Well, look at the slopes. Negative 2, negative 2. They're parallel. If the numbers here don't match on the b values, it doesn't matter. It's that the slopes are the same. Okay? So there you go. There's what we would call like the easier problem. Okay? The harder problem, instead of the slope being like a normal integer, it's going to be like a fraction. Okay? So let's do one of those. And other than that, the rest of the problems are identical. So looking to see one that might look a little tough. So we'll try this one right here, number 9. So this is our last example. It's going to go through negative 5 comma 1 and parallel to y equal to 3/5 x plus 2. So it's going to go through negative 5 comma 1 and it's parallel to y equal to 3/5 x plus 2. So remember, I'm trying to write a brand new line that's parallel. If I'm trying to write lines that are parallel, that means they must have the same slope. Okay? So, what is the slope of this equation that they gave me? I don't know if somebody said it. What's the slope of this new equation that they gave me right here? 3/5. Thank you. So 3/5. So now I know that my new equation has to have the same slope, right? So I'm going to write y equals mx plus b, and m is 3/5. Okay, so far so good. I haven't done anything wrong, nothing too difficult. I'm just doing what they want me to do, write it in slope-intercept form. That's what that is. Now I get to plug in my numbers to solve for b. So this is x, this is y. All right, so my y is a 1 equals to 3/5 times, negative 5. Let me change the color on that. Negative 5 plus b. Now, notice 3/5 times negative 5. This is something you're going to want to put on your calculator if you don't feel comfortable doing it in your head. But 3/5 times negative 5 comes out to negative 3. Because the 5's cancel, right? A negative 5 divided by negative 5 is a negative 1. Negative 1 times 3 is a negative 4. Okay, and again, or if you want to multiply, 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. Or punch it into your calculator. Okay, whatever you feel most comfortable doing. So let's add 3, and then we're pretty much done with the problem. So 4 is equal to b. Again, notice my b value is here. My m value for the parallel slope is right there. All I need to do is put it together into my equation. So y equals m, that's 3/5 x, plus b, which is a positive 4. And there you go. This is what you guys are doing for homework.